Good evening, friends. First, let me introduce myself. I am Dr. Sandeep Suri. I'm the physician working as a consultant physician diabetologist at Holy Help Hospital, Hisar, Haryana. Initial topic was basically COVID and diabetes, but I thought let me take you towards another pandemic or another epidemic which we are all facing in our day-to-day practice, and I'm going to talk about certain myths related to insulin therapy, because insulin therapy has been an integral part of our diabetes management, and many times when we try to start insulin in our patients, there are so many issues they come up at that time, and it requires a lot many commitment in both from the patient, also from the healthcare physicians, and we come across a lot many things in diabetes practice when we start insulin. So as we are live on Facebook, and it's a social media, so I will be using this platform to mitigate or clarify certain myths or certain issues, or you can say misconceptions from general public's mind and also from healthcare physicians' mind, so as to make use of insulin more acceptable and appropriate. Friends, just remember 5 points. For insulin, you have to remember only 5 points. Number one, insulin is produced in our body from beta cells of pancreas. So this is one of the most basic thing to learn. Second thing, insulin is the only hormone in our body which decreases blood glucose level. So to control blood glucose, you require insulin. Third, in diabetes, basically insulin lack, either absolute insulin lack, or that happens in type 1 diabetes, or relative insulin lack that happens in type 2 diabetes. So either you are having type 1 diabetes or you are having type 2 diabetes, this is basically insulin lack. Fourth thing, very important, for type 1 diabetes, which is most of the time in childhood diabetes or young onset diabetes, insulin is the replacement therapy. We call it a replacement therapy, that you have, there is an absolute insulin deficiency and it is essential for the life of the patient to give insulin round the clock. For type 2 diabetes, most of our patients, they are well managed on oral anti-diabetic drugs, but due to progressive nature of the disease itself, by around 5 to 10 years down the lane, around 50% of your patient, they start requiring insulin. And if you are having diabetes for 20 to 25 years, then around 90% of your patient will be requiring insulin supplementation to control blood glucose levels. Fifth most important thing to learn is that insulin is the most efficacious, most effective, most powerful tool to control glucose. So it's the most powerful glucose lowering agent. So these 5 points are absolute basic points. But the issue is that there are many challenging issues or many challenges when you start initiating insulin therapy. Almost 85% of your patient which require insulin therapy, there is inappropriate delay or postponement or inappropriate, you just sway away from starting insulin. There are so many issues that comes into the play at that time once you try to start insulin in a most appropriate way. So there are many factors contributing to this avoidance of insulin therapy, and we call it, in scientific term, we call it clinical inertia, we call it therapeutic inertia, or a sort of psychological insulin resistance. And actually there are certain barriers both in the mind of healthcare physician and also in the mind of patient regarding insulin therapy. And most of these barriers are somewhat overlapping, that they are there both in the mind of patient and also same barriers are there in the mind of healthcare physicians. So they are nearly similar type of barriers. Today we are going to discuss about these concerns or myths or misconceptions, and we will try to sort out these issues. We try to find out the ways to get answers with the scientific facts. So I want to go with my slides, and Can I see on the mobile? That will do. Okay. मोबाइल पे देख लेता हूँ. So can I go? Should I start? So the first and foremost myth that comes in the mind of the patient that once on insulin, it is for the whole life. So patient will say, डॉक्टर साहब एक बार आपने इंसुलिन मुझे शुरू कर दिया तो क्या वो सारी जिंदगी मेरे को इंसुलिन पे ही रहना पड़ेगा? Friends, it is not necessary. You can tell your patient that it is not necessary for someone who is being prescribed insulin and insulin that he should remain on insulin forever. It is not there. I always tell my patient कि देखिए अगर मैं 10 मरीजों को एक हफ्ते के अंदर इंसुलिन लिखता हूं तो 4 और मरीजों की एक हफ्ते में इंसुलिन बंद भी होती है. सो इट इज नॉट ओनली that I initiate insulin today and it is going to be there for the whole life. Many cases it may be prescribed temporarily. It is temporarily phase of insulinization. For example, you can say pregnancy, or you are having some stress related issue, some infection, pneumonia, UTI, sepsis, patient is on steroids, patient is admitted to you in ICU, patient admitted for surgery, patient admitted for non-healing diabetic foot ulcer, patient having myocardial infarction. These are temporary stressful conditions where you require insulin. But always remember that your lifestyle modification is the key. This is the main key, that is the main thing that will drive you away from decreasing the, also drive towards decreasing the dose of insulin. And also if you want to take away from yourself from insulin, then this is the basic thing that requires a commitment from you. Otherwise, if it is delayed for long time, if it is a long duration of diabetes, probably in these type of severe diabetic cases, insulin is prescribed for indefinitely. So even for people who are being prescribed insulin for long term insulin use, they can be taken off insulin. So remember this. And if they manage their lifestyle modification, they lose weight, they take care of their diet, and they take care of all guidance from your physician, so they can decrease the dose and also they can be off from the insulins. So it is not that once I give insulin to a patient, it is for the lifelong. Second myth which comes in patient's mind, and many time my patient says, डॉक्टर साहब इंसुलिन जिसको लिखा जाता है उसकी या तो आंखें चली जाती हैं, या उसके गुर्दे चले जाते हैं, या उसको हार्ट अटैक हो जाता है, या उसको अधरंग हो जाता है. So they say that insulin is the causative factor. That is the myth in patient's mind, that insulin causes these type of complications. Friends, remember that. Remember, always tell your patient that the actual Ravana or actual enemy is diabetes itself. It is not insulin or any drug for treatment of diabetes. It is the disease per se which is the basic enemy for your own micro and macrovascular complication. These complications are associated with diabetes itself. They are not associated with insulin. On the contrary, starting insulin at an early stage, appropriate timing, appropriately if it is started, timely initiation of insulin has been done at an early stage, the disease can help to delay these complications, prevent these complications, or even regress them also. So the belief that insulin causes complication or death often comes from seeing what happened in the past in the family members or friends or a diabetic patients. So family members, friends, relatives suffered some vision loss, amputation, renal failure, pancreatic shutdown. These are the sometimes myths in patient's mind. They say that it is due to insulin which is causing it. And believe me friends, it is in around 40% of our patient. Once you want to try to explore the causes why they are not taking insulin, this is there in their mind. So it is very important to tell them that this is not the insulin or any drug for treatment of diabetes. It is basically the disease which is causing the issues, which is the causing these problems. So there can be a myth or a fear in patient's mind, and it is sometimes it is very hard to clarify that thing, but you have to give them the scientific facts that the insulin is pretty much safe. It is an actual savior for you and your best friend during a crisis. I told you there are certain crisis situations like you are admitted in hospital, ICUs, myocardial infarction, non-healing foot ulcers. There you rely upon insulin. Critical care illnesses or even COVID-19 sickness, when you were severely infected with COVID-19, this comes as a savior for you. And also you can tell your patient that this is the drug which we prescribe in pregnancy. So if you are giving this drug in pregnancy, so that means it is absolutely safe for the mother and it is absolutely safe for the fetus also. So such a safe drug, how can it cause so many complications? So this is the second myth we have to clarify from our patient's mind. Third important myth is that insulin injection causes pain. Yes, many of us, even myself, earlier tried to sway away from, try to not get COVID vaccination done because I was fearing about, I had needle phobia. You call it a term, that is a trypanophobia. But although it is, no one likes, I will say that no one wants to have shots, injections or jabs, because it is engraved in our mind. The first injection we had in our childhood, it was tetanus injection. That was really very painful, and that memory remains in my mind, in our mind. And whenever the injection or injection therapy or insulin comes into our picture, it comes in our mind, then we are reminded of that pain of tetanus injection. So that's why it is always, Doctor Sahab, ye to bahut dard wala hoga. And also you can see that if you are a child or a kid comes into your chamber along with the grandmother or grandfather or even parents, then he starts taking away something from your table, or some paperweight has been picked by that child, and the father or mother scolds him or her that aapko doctor tika laga dega. So tika is a sort of punishment. So this is engraved in our mind. So friends, remember, today things have changed a lot. We are having only 4 mm, 6 mm needles. These are the needles which I am carrying with me. So these are the needles and the pens and devices. They are just not visible with the naked eye. They are so small, hairline, thin needles, and that is absolutely painless. This is absolutely painless. And sometimes people will say that, डॉक्टर साहब जो आप टेस्ट करते हो ना ग्लूकोज, शुगर चेक करते हो ग्लूकोमीटर से, that is much more painful than that insulin injections. And the best practice which I see, which I use in my day-to-day dealing with the diabetic patient, when I initiate insulin, I give first shot in my own chamber. So that will take away the pain or pains in the mind of patients, and that is there, that is needle phobia is gone away right at that time, then, and that this time only. The fourth important myth that comes in patient's mind is that insulin is a last treatment resort. So many people turn to insulin only after all other routes of therapy, other modalities of therapies for management of diabetes has been cleared, has been weaned off. However, this may not be a good idea. It is the word that is known as timely initiation of insulin. So most of patients think that initiation of insulin means end of the road. That means last resort. And they say that it is a sense of failure. डॉक्टर साहब मेरी बीमारी इतनी बिगड़ गई है, डॉक्टर साहब मेरी बीमारी इतनी बढ़ गई है, डॉक्टर साहब मुझे कोई और दवाई काम करेगी नहीं करेगी, आपने मुझे इंसुलिन बोल दिया. So there is a sort of no return, or a type of, that means you cannot come back to your routine life, or you cannot enjoy those oral antidiabetic drugs. You have to go for a insulin therapy. So, or sometimes patient will feel that I am so sick that my doctor is prescribing insulin. These all leads to insulin distress. That is a depressive thought, negative thought towards insulin. Friends, the thing is that timely initiation of insulin. Once you feel that what we all, most of us, we are doing, that once we feel that oral antidiabetic drugs are not working, say 3 months, 6 months, or 1 year or 2 year therapy, and we are using multiple drugs, 2, 3 multiple drugs, and even also newer drugs which are not working, then it is the time then we should start using insulin. So it's a timely initiation of insulin for achieving glycemic control. That can definitely delay the onset or even stop the progression of complications, all related to your eyes, related to your kidneys, related to your feet, related to your myocardium, your heart. So they all can be easily saved, or these progressions or these complications can be really prevented by timely initiation of insulin. Next myth, fifth myth, which comes many times in patient's mind, that insulin causes weight gain. Friend, I will label this thing as a pseudo myth. This is a sort of pseudo myth. Yes, somewhat it is true, because insulin is an anabolic hormone. It leads to increase in weight gain by 2 to 3 kgs, and also it decreases carbohydrate or calorie loss from urine. So your body tries to conserve more energy. It is an anabolic hormone. You can have weight gain of around 2 to 3 kg. But thing is that, which will be the main thing, you have to tell your patient that your lifestyle modification, your diet, your exercise will give you benefit, and it can prevent further weight gain. So you can enjoy the benefits of insulin, and you can be away from excessive weight gain with insulinization. So lifestyle modification has to be stressed at that time. You have to tell your patient, otherwise you will gain some amount of weight, but that is a positive, healthy weight, anabolic hormone. Only thing, if you want to avoid this much amount of weight gain, so it is better to stress more upon lifestyle modification. The sixth myth or sixth perception, misconception that is there, that is again very important. It is not only it is a misconception, but it is a really a very important thing, that insulin causes low blood sugar level. Yes, friends, definitely it is again a pseudo myth, because definitely you get low blood sugar level. It is an hypoglycemic agent, and it decreases your blood sugar level. And sometime, if there is a mismatch between the dose and also mismatch between your meals, you are not consuming proper diet, you are delaying your diet, your meal is delayed, you are injecting somewhat more insulin, or you are prone to hypoglycemia, then you can have these type of issues, and these are very important issues, and you have to educate your patient how to deal with hypoglycemia. So then this type of thing is a basically an part of diabetes related education. So it's a very important to educate your patient how to deal with hypoglycemia. Also, the family member or a caretaker has to be educated. Like, you have to educate for the childhood diabetes, you have to educate even to tell the patient's teacher, class teacher, even principal, or even a sports teacher, to how to take care of hypoglycemia. Then monitoring is very important, by doing self monitoring of blood sugar, by using glucometer reading. And another myth that comes in patient mind कि डॉक्टर साहब glucometer reading जो है ना वो ठीक reading नहीं होती है. Now friends, most of the glucometers, they have improved a lot, and you can have these glucometer well validated from your hospital lab, and there can be a small amount of differences around 15 to 20 milligram between glucometer reading and your lab reading. Otherwise, they are absolutely good glucometers you are getting in market nowadays. And moreover, once you are having lower blood sugar level, their accuracy is improved. So you have to monitor it. One thing is education for hypoglycemia, then you have to monitor it regularly, and then third thing very important is that reporting of even minor hypoglycemia. माइनर हाइपोग्लाइसेमिक एपिसोड, अगर आपके साथ ब्लड शुगर लो होने का एपिसोड होता है, मे बी इट इज अराउंड 70 मिलीग्राम ब्लड शुगर लो, जिसको आपने थोड़ा बहुत ग्लूकोज लेके, कुछ मीठा खा के, कोई फ्रूट लेके, कोई जूस पी के ठीक कर लिया, ओके, यू आर फाइन नाउ, बट यू हैव टू रिपोर्ट दिस थिंग to your doctor, your caregiver, your patient, to your healthcare physician, because next time you will have more severer form of hypoglycemia. And another thing that have to tell, that if you want to tell your patient regarding education, that oral anti-diabetic drug like sulfonylureas, they do have hypoglycemia issues. And these hypoglycemia related to insulins, they are even a minor, or even they are moderate intensity, and lesser severe hypoglycemia are seen with insulin in comparison to oral anti-diabetic drug. They are having more prolonged hypoglycemia, more severe hypoglycemia. So don't say that गोलियां खाने से hypoglycemia नहीं होता. So this is there for insulin and in comparison to oral anti-diabetic drug. Third thing very important that regarding hypoglycemia is that even newer insulins like analog insulins, they are there, and the beauty of these molecule is that, except the cost, but the beauty is that the nocturnal hypoglycemia, nighttime hypoglycemia, overall hypoglycemia, and severe hypoglycemia are decreased by at least up to 50% in comparison to regular human insulin. So you can get that prescription from your doctor also. Now, another myth, or you can say seventh myth that comes in patient's mind, that insulin is a costly treatment. बहुत खर्चे वाला treatment है. But the thing is that we are living in cost-sensitive society. I do agree with that. But remember one thing, there is a false economy concept in diabetes. And we say that don't be penny wise and pound foolish. As you can say, the case of cost of managing diabetes with complications, maybe eye related complication, maybe feet related complication, maybe kidney related complication, heart attack issues, or stroke issues, it is 10 to 20 fold higher than the management of non complicated diabetes. So the cost of diabetes is basically management of complications. So the cost spent on newer modalities, newer therapies, or safer therapies and effective therapies which are having so many other pleiotropic effect is just negligible in comparison to management of complications. Another thing is that if you are so much worried about the cost, then you can have regular human insulins, NPH insulin, regular insulins, they can be there. And efficacy wise, A1C decrease, blood sugar decrease, they are just similar to the newer insulin. So no difference in the efficacy, only difference is that newer insulin, analog insulin, they are much more safe in comparison to regular human insulin. Next myth that comes in patient's mind, insulin means dependent on others. That means many people believe that once they start insulin, they can no longer be independent, they can no longer live alone, they cannot travel or eat away from home. So this is again a very big myth in patient's mind. None of these is true. With planning, there is no reason why you cannot do everything you did before starting insulin. So you have to plan that thing. Actually, many people find that their lives do change with insulin for the towards better. Now they are much more energetic, much more positive thinker. So insulin gives you that benefit also. They may have more energy to do lot many work now. They may be more flexible in their schedule and feel much more positive about themselves. So insulin gives a sort of positive kick also. After starting insulin, many people wonder why they have not started or why they have waited so long to feel better. Many people comes in your chamber coming from different changing different doctors because they wanted to prescribe insulin and patient doesn't want to start insulin. So, and this is around 5 to 10 years, 5 to 7 years they spend like that in hyperglycemia, in increasing glycemic load with so many issues, so many complications. Once you start insulin and they start feeling these positive things, even before their blood sugar is controlled, this positive things appears within first 1 or 2 weeks. So this positive thing clearly indicates that gives positive information to your patient that why it has not been started early. And also what I use in my patients, I used to find out one or two diabetes coaches, and I label them a diabetes coach. And what are these diabetes coaches? They are in the family. Some grandson is there, some granddaughter is there, some daughter-in-law is there, or some children in the neighborhood. Some children in the neighborhood. They are just very good diabetes coaches. I call them as a doctors also. They come with the patient, they learn about the technique of injecting insulin, and they feel so much delighted that they are giving insulin to the patient, to uh, their grandfather, their grandmother, their father. So that is a beautiful thing, that you feel that you are not dependent upon somebody. It is, there is a diabetes coach which is always with you. So I use this term also. Now, another myth which comes in patient's mind is that insulin is addictive. This is a addiction type of thing. Once you start in insulin, you will depend upon insulin for long, for your whole life. Insulin is not a drug that you can, or a sedative drug or hypnotic drug where you can get addicted. People typically already have insulin in their blood from birth. So friends, I tell my patient that insulin is the most natural treatment, because it is the same insulin which is produced inside you, your beta cells are producing, and and that is the insulin which is there in the pen fills or there in the vials. That is the same in human insulin. So that is being getting injected. So how can it be addictive to you? So this thing has to be clarified, that it is human insulin which is produced inside. We are using genetic engineering, similar amino acid sequences are there, and we are giving this insulin in the vial or a pen fill, and this is you are injecting. So how can you be addicted to this thing? It is not a hypnotic, it is not a sedative, it is not a drug which can lead to addiction. Another myth that comes patient's mind, and rather it is the last myth, that is most of the time I find out that injecting insulin is a taboo, and this is a important myth. Sometimes it's a sort of that you have to clarify it, that insulin is one of the most valuable discovery ever made in the mankind. Now we are celebrating around 100 years of insulin discovery. This year 2021 is the 100 or centurion year of discovery of insulin. It is really a boon to diabetics. Before insulin, it was type 1 diabetic patient who were dependent upon insulin. That was the lifespan was only few months or year also, not more than that. That was just like a death sentence. So after getting insulin, now they are living to the full of their life with and doing all type of activities, and they are enjoying their life like anything. Similarly, in type 2 diabetic patient, people with diabetes often view the switch to insulin therapy as a sign of personal failure in managing their diabetes. Many people who try very hard to adhere to diet, exercise, lose weight will still need insulin. This is absolutely clear. Because there is a progressive nature of type 2 diabetes that I have told you. Actually, insulin treatment is the most effective and the safest way of controlling diabetes. So friends, you have to tell your patient that this is not a taboo. This is really a boon to diabetes. We don't have another way to inject insulin. We cannot take tablets, or we don't have patches or sprays for insulin. It is coming in the form of injection till now. So we have to take it as a injection. So we must give each and every myth a proper consideration, because patients believe they are basically sort of barriers for insulin treatment. So we have to take these barriers, we have to consider these things as early as possible, using systematic, targeted, and scientifically correct language, correct approach to counter these barriers. Because these barriers, once they are away, once patient is already on insulin, then the things are much more easier to convince, to up titrate the dose, to change the therapy. Then the things become much more easier. Approach of healthcare physician should be empathetic and motivational. Never give insulin as a punishment. Always try to give positive things for insulin. I always tell about positive things about insulin, so that the main aim is that anybody who is needing insulin should get it in a timely way, so that we have we can take care of our type 2 diabetic patients in a much more proper and accurate and scientific way, so that we can give them healthy life and complications free life for their long living. I stop here and I thank you all for the patience hearing, and if I encounter, I will be happy to see any questions if they are there in the chat box. Yes, there are questions also. I can see questions here. First question is from Ashwin Thakur. Do people with diabetes have higher chances of serious complication from COVID-19 than others? Ashwin, you have to remember this thing. One thing has to be clarified from your mind, that diabetes uncontrolled is a high risk for COVID complications. Otherwise, they have similar risk factor, similar risk as a general public. Uncontrolled glycemia, uncontrolled hyperglycemia is the basic thing that leads to increased morbidity, increased complications, increased mortality, increased ICU stay, requirement of oxygen, requirements of ventilatory therapies, requirement of plasma therapy is much more in diabetic, hypertensive, uncontrolled diabetes, uncontrolled hypertensive, obese patients, elderly patients, and so many comorbid conditions. Another question, are risks different from people with type 1, type 2 diabetes if they get COVID infection? No. Type 1 diabetic patient, they have got their another issues. They can go into diabetic ketoacidosis complication. That has to be because we use steroids also. There is so much cytokine storm at that time. There is so much inflammatory responses at that time. These patients go into, and there is so much release of counter-regulatory hormone. Insulin needs, insulin requirements go very high in type 1 diabetic patient. These patients, they may go into diabetic complications, specifically diabetic ketoacidosis. Similarly, for type 2 diabetic patients, they require very high dose of insulin. Sometimes we have to resort 200 unit insulin, and we have to per day for taking care of these type of patients, more than 200 units by giving infusion. So if you calculate 24-hour dose, it can go even 200 to 250 units per day. So their requirement goes up. There are more chances of getting complicated COVID. So we have to be very vigilant. Again, it is more stress that you have to take care of your lifestyle modification. You have to take care of your weight also. Control your glycemia if you want to avoid a further COVID-related issues, COVID-related complications. GAD antibody positive, more than 2000 international unit with low C-peptide level 1.7 confirms LADA. Yes, it does confirm LADA. Best treatment is insulin. Safest treatment is insulin. So you are fortunate you are getting so high level of GAD antibodies, and C-peptide level are on lowest side, lower limit. So these patients definitely they are LADA type of patient. So only treatment is insulin. Then another is type 2 diabetic on oral medication with controlled diabetes, always wary of insulin. No, you should not be. Mr. Bisham, you should not be worried about insulin. Insulin is a sort of a station in the journey of diabetes. So if your doctor says your oral anti-diabetic drugs, they are not working, ask him to start insulin in appropriate way. Maybe a basal dose of insulin, single dose, maybe pre-mixed insulin or a co-formulation. There are so many options, and you have to rely upon your healthcare physician for initiation of insulin. Then once it is initiated, always tell your doctor, or doctor will be doing it, optimization and also intensification to reach the target. Don't sway away from insulin. Insulin is really a boon. It is not a taboo. It is not a last resort. You have to take it in a timely way. You have to start it at an appropriate time. Then Lantus or Tresiba, which originally is the better basal? See, if you are comparing Lantus and Tresiba, they are generation gap. Lantus is second generation basal insulin, whereas Tresiba is third generation basal insulin. Lantus is U100 Glargine, whereas Tresiba is U100 Degludec. And there is another Tuzio, that is Glargine U300 also is available. So Glargine U300 and Tresiba, they are ultra long acting basal insulin, and they are very safe. So they are better in comparison to plain U100 Lantus. But always rely upon your healthcare physician. He will choose. Efficacy wise, they are all same. Only thing is that safety profile: nocturnal hypoglycemia, overall hypoglycemia, total hypoglycemia, severe hypoglycemia. So hypoglycemia part has been taken care by these better pharmacokinetic and thermodynamic profile insulins. Otherwise, Glargine U100, if it is managing your glycemia properly, don't try to change. Fine, I think we have done with the sir, how carb counting help diabetic patient in managing diabetes? See, to remember two things, Nitesh, that there is a glycemic index and there is glycemic load. Glycemic index means that the carbohydrate which I took, how early it peaks the blood sugar level in my body. So in my blood, how early it comes up. So this is glycemic index. Total that carbohydrate amount in a meal which I am taking, that is known as glycemic load. So glycemic index can be variable also. But for carbohydrate counting and insulin, there is a matching between insulin dose and the carbohydrate dose. That means 1 unit of insulin, how much it takes care of the carb and how much it takes care of your blood sugar values. So around 1 unit of insulin which takes care of around 20 grams of carbs, and also around 40 milligram, 30 to 40 milligram of blood sugar level will come down. So this is roughly, and this is variable. Insulin carb ratio is variable depending upon insulin resistance of your patient, of yourself. So this has to be taken in accordance from your healthcare physician. He will tell you that this is the formula, this is you can use for counting carbs in the meal, and then this amount of insulin is required. So correctional boluses are required, or the bolus insulin that is required to take care of the meal part. So this is how you take the carbohydrate counting. I think we have done with all questions. So I thank you all for the patience hearing, and I will be available on my email ID if that you want, or even Facebook. I can answer the questions if they are there. It comes in your mind also. Thank you.